Hello and welcome to Reddit on Reddit, the internet's auditory version of Reddit. I'm Nelson Allingham, joined by Michael Campbell.
You know, Nelson, I thought this week,
Yeah.
on episode 160, I would start with a fact.
Okay.
Do you know that we are only 16 kilometers, or 10 miles?
From the Montague Street Bridge?
Yes. Yes, I see we're both on the
Killed
same
you.
thing.
Killed it down, Cambo. Shouldn't have had such a slow intro. I thought about introing, and before saying anything, just saying Montague Street Bridge.
For new listeners, this will make sense a little bit later. If you want to know, skip about like an hour.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm pretty cool, Cambo.
Okay.
Oh boy, this episode is ruined.
Yeah.
It's ruined, Cambo.
If this is your first episode, just go back to last episode. This one's going to be a difficult one.
Start there. Actually, start probably like 5 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's where it started. Anywho, Cambo, I thought I would start the show how regular listeners would know we start the show,
Sure.
which is a movie review,
Yeah.
Nelson's movie review.
Of course.
And I saw The Joker on the weekend.
Sure.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Sure.
Pretty good.
Okay. You're flying through these.
Also, isn't this how it's done?
Yeah, no.
It's way more efficient.
It should be how it's done.
El Camino, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty
so
good.
I also watched El Camino.
Yeah.
And I guess for those unaware, I mean, the 1% of people that are unaware,
Yeah.
it's a movie that's like a sequel to Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And the consensus seems to be that was completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually love that they just kind of didn't ruin it at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
It was like
that seems to be the thing.
that was
Everyone's
the
like,
main thing.
like at the end of it, everyone seems to like breathe a sigh of relief. You go, oh, thank God. That was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. I was really happy with it.
Okay, so you've caught up on movies. You've seen Joker, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and El Camino. Oh, very nice.
Yes, and my hot next door neighbor, Triple X 93. So,
Right.
but that was pretty good.
Well, in keeping with this movie review formula,
Yeah.
I also saw Zombieland 2.
Oh,
It's okay.
Okay. It's not pretty good there.
That's our mid-tier rating.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, or
A warning to the listeners as well. So Stacey, my long-suffering girlfriend, is away. So like a couple of weeks ago, we are on high cat alert.
yes,
At any moment, Megs the cat could come and interrupt. He loves to jump on a table and
push things off it. Who would have known?
And here the thing is, all of our equipment is on a table.
Yeah,
So we have pads that start little jingles by tapping them.
yeah.
I just want to say, if the cat starts to jingle, loophole. I don't think I should.
I mean,
don't
I'll be
think I
here to
should-
verify, Gabbo. Anyway, like I said, this episode's ruined.
Yeah.
Unless you know
What we're talking about.
the rules. Okay, so, Campbell, let's get into Reddit on Reddit. That's what this bloody podcast is about. Oh no, wait! I want to say something about El Camino. I actually just wanted to. I had no one else to point this out to.
Sure.
So I just
Right.
want to point it out to
The listener.
our listeners
Yeah.
of how much I appreciate El Camino. You may remember in some of the trailers leading up to El Camino, there was one where it was sort of spoilers a little bit. I mean, it was a trailer for El Camino. It's about his Skinny Pete is being interviewed by the DEA
Yeah.
about Jesse Pinkman.
He says, "I'll never tell you how to get Jesse Pinkman back in a cage."
Yeah, and yeah, in that scene, it was like really powerful kind of scene just for a trailer.
Yeah.
And what I love is they didn't put that
Yeah, not
in the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, that's just like this awesome extra bit of content that, you know, they knew they didn't have to put it in the movie, but it was a nice like trailer thing. It like perfectly set up the story. It was like, oh, so brilliant. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that.
Can I just say that
Yeah.
review too long?
No, it was too long. It was too long. Okay. Right. This first one, Cambo. Now, I have basically been avoiding bringing up this topic for a long time on this podcast because
we make a lot of money from a certain country.
Oh yeah. No, we I mean can often show things in a poor light. We basically talk about things that we have little information on.
Oh, sure. But that's Reddit as a whole.
Well, that is kind of
we're
Reddit
just
as a
indicative
whole.
of Reddit.
Yeah, that's right. But I feel like sometimes it can be insulting.
Oh, right.
And
Well, what are you bringing up?
But this week I just couldn't avoid it because occasionally, if I don't have a very first kind of little post, I'll go on to popular and also by hottest or top of this week. And probably like of most of the top posts, I'd say 20 in the top, like 100 or something, were about the Hong Kong protests.
Sure. Okay.
So I had one that was from Jacka Thinker, and it was a picture of like an aerial view of all these protesters in Hong Kong.
I've seen the photo.
Which was amazing. Just like tons of people out in force. And just said 4 months on, Hong Kong is still fighting for democracy. And yeah, I thought I almost feel guilty for not bringing it up because I think, it's an important subject.
For those maybe being oppressed, quick review of democracy.
It's good.
Oh, okay. Oh, democracy is good.
Yeah. And you notice in the trailer for Democracy, they had communism bad.
Yeah.
Not really. That's probably...
This... Because I remember when it began, the protests that are still ongoing, I think no one expected it to have the longevity that it's had.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is kind of ridiculous, I guess, when you think about what they're fighting for, which is just fundamental freedom and, As always, a lot of people seem to take more notice, as this tends to be a thing in modern history in the last 15 years. People took more notice once there was a South Park episode about it.
That is kind of true. Yeah, yeah.
Like Scientology existed for 40 odd years, and then South Park made an episode about it. Everyone's like, "Do you know about this Scientology?" And then, of course, South Park made their episode called "Banned in China," which then subsequently got the show "Banned in China," which is all about the censorship of information about what their regime and what people are fighting for. Which actually then got screened during the protests.
Yeah, that's right. It's projected onto a wall, I think. But to be fair, I mean, Winnie the Pooh is also banned in China, so the bar's pretty low.
That one. So I watched this new. It's a YouTube news show. A guy called Philip DeFranco. Every morning has a new show. Yeah, and I've been following this Winnie the Pooh saga since its beginning. Let me tell you, it's fascinating. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's it is pretty nuts, and like that really is like this censorship god mad kind of thing. Like that is just such a bizarre thing.
It's called the Streisand effect.
Which
is if you want something like removed from the internet, say, or you want people not to talk about something. If you bring it up, that guarantee. Barbra Streisand, obviously the example of this. If you bring it up, that guarantees that people will then just latch onto it and never let it go. Yeah. And the more modern version of this is Beyonce. There's a lot of unflattering photos of her during concerts when she's like jumping up and down, and they've just caught her in a weird pose where her face is kind of scrunched up and whatever. And she hates them. But she made the mistake of trying to get them removed from the internet. Yeah. So now they're everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I don't often talk about my sex tape. Yeah. Don't want people knowing about it. Unflattering, Cambo. Only goes for 2 minutes. Yeah. 1 minute of that is me crying.
Yeah, the bad angle as well. You can't even see the person you're having sex with.
It's just me.
Just you. From the waist up, you.
Yeah, that's right. Giving my O face. Yeah. But here's what I was thinking, Cambo. Yeah. This is how we solve the Hong Kong problem, obviously.
Cool.
Don't want to be insensitive, but But I say, Cambo, what if we did know how to just solve it? So wouldn't you wouldn't you be the worst person to quell me from saying what could possibly solve this Hong Kong issue? I mean, you would be the bad guy. Yeah.
Sure.
So let
very
me
aggressive. So
let me tell you how we're going to solve it.
Yeah, and I am open to all. How do I phrase this without calling you an idiot? I'm open to all people's opinions about how to solve it.
You're gonna feel
regardless of their education or their background knowledge on the situation.
You're gonna feel like an idiot when I solve it. You're gonna feel like a very huge idiot.
Yeah.
Okay. So the problem is, China wants to be like, hey, Hong Kong's ours.
Yep.
You know, like, because it's eventually in year 20 something. You know, it's meant to like be handed back to them basically because, I mean, you know, it was originally a British colony, and then go given to the Hong Kong people, and then China's like, hey, we want that. That was a very basic version of that issue. So I'm thinking the solution is we go over there to Hong Kong, stick a flag down, we invade, we turn Hong Kong into Australia, another part of Australia, and then it's like it's a whole different issue. It's like, no, we've invaded Hong Kong.
Yep.
And so therefore, whatever deals had happened prior to that time is null and void because Australia has taken it over.
So have you heard the idea of putting a hat on a hat?
Haven't heard of it. Sounds stupid.
Well,
next.
It's funny that that's your opinion on that, which is essentially, it's like, what's the point of that other than to make it harder to wear? You've got a hat on a hat, but your first hat's kind of like, it's giving you shade. It's the opposite.
I think what's happened is
it's not going to solve your problem anymore.
One hat out, and I've put another hat on.
Yeah.
A bigger, more burdensome one.
So
because effectively, I think I'm declaring war. I think that's what's happened.
You are.
But I'm also saying to the Hong Kong people, I'm like, hey, we'll invade.
Yeah. All right. So
we'll say it's Australia.
Yeah.
But really, we're just going to let you guys do your thing.
Yeah.
But then, you know, as far as China's concerned, it's Australia. So they can't, you know.
What? Fight us?
Yeah,
well, they can.
Because that would be a bigger problem. When you think,
I mean, China has way more people than us.
But if you said China is going to war with Australia, I think that would cause a bigger upset than China is going to war with Hong Kong.
I tell you this,
it's like it sort of seems like infighting, right?
Yeah.
At the moment, but if you make it a war, then like everybody has to get involved.
Here's the question, Nelson.
Solved.
And I put this out to our American listeners as well.
Okay.
Because it does pertain to them. We know that Trump is quite buddy with Xi Jinping, the president of China.
It's I think it might be Prime Minister actually. I don't know. Anyway, one of the guys.
Do you think that if China went to war with Australia, we could rely on Trump to side with us and not China?
Well, the thing is, I'm not.
He hung up in our prime. Americans might not know this, but our prime minister called Trump, and Trump hung up on him.
Yeah.
So I'm not so sure we're going to have the backup you think.
Yeah.
Britain's going through their own thing with Brexit right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's going to New Zealand, sure.
I mean, I'm expecting
because what else is New Zealand
doing? A Cold War type situation.
Right, just a standoff.
Yeah, just a standoff.
Right.
And granted, you still sort of need support from other nations in that sort of time. But Canve, the whole point is we're deflecting, okay, from the current issue. How are you not understanding this? Okay, I've solved that problem.
Okay, this is also a thing. You can say, China, you have the numbers. Here's the thing about Australians. We'll glass a guy.
We'll bloody glass a guy.
We'll glass a guy. It happens like more than you'd expect in this country.
Yeah. Or maybe we just bring over some of our deadly animals.
Oh, yeah.
Say, oh, you sure you want Hong Kong? We've put in a redback.
Yeah.
Redback spider. That'll bloody kill you. Yeah. Actually, I don't think they've killed anybody for a while. Yeah. Shock.
Yeah, got kangaroos. I know they look cute, but they'll kill you.
Yeah, like a mean kick. So I've solved a world crisis Cambo?
And I've just been a bit of a negative
What
Nancy, haven't I?
The whole time you try to shut this down. I think at the end we decided that I've definitely solved the problem. So,
Well, we expect a news report very soon.
Yeah.
And for those news report, readitpodcast @gmail.com.
Yeah. God, we have so many new listeners. Imagine the headlines, bro.
Oh,
Reddit on Reddit podcast.
Lose a potential billion listeners.
I mean, they were never going to listen anyway. Surely we're not allowed into their internet through their firewall.
Apple Podcast is not serving Reddit on Reddit.
Yeah. Okay, Cambo, let's get into Ask Reddit. Ask Reddit. This Ask Reddit is by Scorching Heaven. You suddenly gain the ability to pull out anything out of your pocket. What do you do first?
Oh, what do I do first?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to test it, wouldn't you? Because you wouldn't be sure whether this power is real.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh my God, I pulled out the new iPhone. Because that's what you'd start with. You'd be like, I wish I had the new iPhone. There it is.
Just by accident.
And then you'd be like, wait a minute. Can this pocket produce anything?
Yeah.
Oh, it's another iPhone. I should stop thinking about the iPhone.
God.
But that is weird.
I don't even want an iPhone. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about the fact that it had... Oh, I haven't... Cambo, it's going to sound crazy to you, but I haven't put my hand in my pocket and just thought about something and pulled it out. I could have this magic pocket.
I'm saying I reach into pull my current phone, which to be clear is only the second latest iPhone, therefore not good enough.
Lame.
Oh, I turned my flashlight off. I held up my
You are not
phone.
good with technology.
I held up my phone theatrically for no reason. No one can see it. And I turned on the flashlight.
Yeah.
And then I maybe at that point I was just having to think, because I might be wearing these pants for months before I realize that this is a thing.
Yeah.
Alternatively, the other situation, Wizard says,
okay,
here are some pants. You put your hand in your pocket and think about anything. You pull a thing out.
Yeah.
I'll go, Nelson, I got this. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Put the pants on. Hand in the pocket. Pull out another pair of these pants.
Give them
to you.
This is brilliant, Cameron. What if you start pulling the pants out and you notice that the pants are coming off you at the same time? You've pulled the pants that you're wearing through some sort of dimensional, your own pocket. And you pull it out. It's one of those things like in a movie where it's like in Futurama where Bender loses both his arms and he puts them both
somehow puts them
on
both
again. You're like, you don't know how it happened, but it happened.
It's like an MC Escher painting of pants. Like, where does it begin? Where does it end?
Yeah, that's right.
But then I'd probably pull out a couple of spare pairs, put them in the wardrobe just in case.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think obviously money first.
Yeah.
Why not money? And then, you, Cambo.
No.
Something.
So do I disappear from where I am?
See, the thing is,
or is there a clone of me?
I'm gonna pull you out while I'm looking at you. Okay.
Just to see.
I want to know
how it works.
I want to know how this works.
Yeah.
If my hand comes through some dimensional portal that just appears like above your head and I just start pulling.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, I mean, I stop.
Right.
Because, Cambo, you can't fit through a pocket.
Well, this is my other
Ruin my
question.
pocket.
This is another question. That's why you make the other pants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're experimental.
Because then you could pull some pretty big stuff out of a pair of pants with your other pairs.
Yeah. Those ones ripped into. Yeah. Pockets no good anymore. But you've got an elephant.
Exactly. Yeah.
I definitely would do that.
Yeah. Because like for the cost of a pants, you could pull out a pretty nice house.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, look, to be fair, I could probably pull a brick out of my pocket.
Could you imagine? You know, you buy a little plot of land, and the developer's like, "So, do you need to talk about housing?" No.
Okay. Don't
you don't have land to put a house? Oh, there'll be a house. Yeah. But this is the end of our transaction. I just needed this land for reasons that I no longer need you for.
Yeah. You might need somebody to level out the land.
Yeah,
you
true.
Can't pull that out of your pocket.
Yeah. But you can pull the money to pay it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, and if you couldn't, I think you could pull one brick out at a time. You have the builder there. And you just reach in, so and you're just kind of throwing them out one at a time.
He says, to be clear, you're just paying me for construction And not materials.
No materials, mate.
Saving a fortune on materials.
No problemo. You pull out a bunch of sand. Can you turn that into windows? But flawless.
Yeah.
I think
the house would be flawless because how do you get floorboards out of your pants? Yeah.
Bricks, Camber. Everything's bricks. Brick. No problems from wolves then.
That's true.
Camber didn't think about the wolf problem. It's so rampant in our society.
It is, yeah.
All right, here's another one. This is by I See 9 Kills. How would your life improve if you magically grew a third arm?
Third arm. You can pull more stuff out of the pocket.
Oh, maybe
two side pockets in a back pocket.
One back pocket. Oh my god! I need a fourth arm.
And not to go back to the other point, but I do feel bad for the fairer sex because a lot of the time women complain that their pockets are fake.
Yeah,
you got magic pants. That's a real deal breaker for you.
I think
we're pulling stuff out left, right, and center.
We've got so many pockets.
Stacey tries to pull something out of her pockets. They're fake.
Yeah. Or often I think even just quite smaller in general.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if they are real.
Yeah. Imagine if they were cargo pants. Anyway, third arm.
If they were what?
Cargo pants.
Oh my god, so many pockets. So many pockets. So many bricks you can pull out of those.
This has me done in no time. How would a third arm improve my life? I don't. Would it necessarily?
I mean, I've tried masturbating with two hands, and honestly, it's way harder.
Yeah,
so 3 is only going to make it way more complicated.
We can probably get rid of it all.
We'll get too many arms.
But I think all of human evolution and all of the technology that we have has been designed for 2.
No, actually, I did think of one.
Okay.
And I think that we have developed something. For 3 arms, we only use 2.
Okay.
Is keyboard and mouse. If you had 3 arms, you could constantly be touch typing plus have your mouse on it. The thought that I had instantly was like, man, imagine how much cooler and complex games could be, or how much better I could be at games.
Yeah.
Because I can use more inputs.
Do you think that the person that first came up with the concept of keyboard and mouse had forgotten the 2-arm rule? It's like, you're going to love this. You got your keyboard. You're typing there with your hands.
Yeah.
And you're using the mouse. Yeah. And they say, but don't you need to remove one hand from the keyboard? And he kind of looked at both. He's like, damn it. Yeah.
I've already made 10,000 of these.
I don't have anything better. So.
Yeah. This is kind of...
And the guy's like, eventually... We'll think of something.
Someone come up with it. Don't worry about it. Somebody will come up with something.
Anyway, it's been about 50 years.
Actually, have you seen those little devices? I can't remember what they're called, but you slip them on like a glove and you do movements with your hand that then type out different letters or symbols or whatever. And they claim that you can use it for things like gaming, but obviously typing and things like that. I think the idea was also like you can connect it to your phone and stuff, so you can
probably solve future crimes.
Future crimes.
It's a reference to the movie Minority Report.
Yeah, great reference.
Do you remember?
I got it instantly.
In that movie, they thought, well, what will happen is in the future, we'll all wear these gloves. And then on the gloves, you'll be able to touch the screen and move it. Yeah. When the iPad came out, they must have been like, yeah.
Well, I guess you could just do that.
Oh, I forgot about screens. Yeah.
Especially, oh my God, this is brilliant. Especially, because do you remember the scene where, what's his name?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. I was going to say Hanks, the other one. Yeah. Tom Cruise. He's like flicking things around, and then somebody comes in and he goes to say hi to him, and he like goes to shake his hand, and then everything moves off the screen. He's like, "Oh, sorry," and he goes back to it. They've actually made something less efficient than just an iPad. Yeah, because when you take your hand away from the screen,
you just put the iPad down, shake hands all day long.
Yeah, if you're wearing these gloves, you can literally not do anything else but control the screen. That is very limiting.
Yeah,
if you had a third hand, Camber, then you'd be fine. Another use for the third hand. If the Minority Report universe comes true, got that hand for shaking hands.
Because then you can still solve future crime and not be rude.
Yeah.
When a guest enters the room.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that if we did have a third hand, there would be like slight mutations where maybe somebody's got like because left and right just opposites of each other.
Yeah.
But maybe if you've got a hand out in the middle, you've got a thumb that comes up the top.
So it's like symmetrical.
Yeah. So some people have a thumb that comes up the top. Some people have a thumb goes down the bottom. And then we start, obviously, a race war based on this.
obviously.
Yeah. Like, I can't believe those down thumbers.
And I don't know why, but thumb up is definitely the upper.
It's better. It's better. I don't,
for no reason other than there's just negative connotation around a down thumb. And that's mainly based on Gladiator.
I think it was... Pure Gladiator was the thing that started it all.
Good one, Joaquin Phoenix. You may have been pretty good in Joker, but now you've started a race war.
No, I think like if you're just holding your hands straight out from you, like it's easier to hold them up, thumbs up, than if you're holding them down. That true. Seems more unnatural.
Yeah, because you need to twist your like arms around to put your thumbs down.
Yeah. So down with the thumb downers.
Which means if someone gives you the thumbs down, they're putting more effort than if they gave you the thumbs up. Think about that. They went out of their way to give you a thumbs down.
Yeah, that in a way that should be like the positive encouragement. It's like I'm putting effort into saying good job.
That's true. So that's because people are always like, it takes less muscles to smile than to frown.
Yeah.
Lazy.
Yeah. So lazy. I've always thought like, but I mean, you could just remain, you could just keep a neutral face. You're probably not using any muscles.
Yeah.
But then you've just got resting bitch face if you're always doing that. Nobody ever says, just keep a neutral face. Do they, Kembo?
No, they don't. You're right.
You don't use any muscles.
Yeah.
Nobody says that. Anyway.
What a point.
Oh, gross. I just saw a message come through from your girlfriend on the computer, and it says, love you. Oh my God.
She's so whipped.
Vomit. Again. You're going to write back? Shut up. All right, let's get into Today I Learned. So now it's time for Today I Learned. Today I Learned. Or maybe advice.
Point in the bank for me. Just want to point that out.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You do get a point.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just disappointing. See, I ruined it because I said the rule.
Yeah. I mean, but I was always going to get that point.
You were always going to get that point. Yeah. But now you're probably unlikely to get minus points this episode.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, this first one is it is an advice one.
Okay, yeah, so to be clear, this Today I Learned segment is running a little dry, and you are peppering in a couple of advice. Is it just the subreddit advice?
Yeah, actually, I think this one was... There's like 3 advice ones that I'm sort of subscribed to, and I just figure I'm picking one. Right. It's like advice... I think one's just called Need Advice.
Okay, cool, yeah.
And one's called Shitty Advice.
Okay, cool.
But I put that in there. Why not? Anyway, actually, this might be a Shitty Advice one. I can't remember. Anyway, this is by Jamster. Jamster?
No, it's just got closer to the screen to read it.
Jamester,
okay.
Could be Jai. Anyway. I think my boyfriend is poor, but he's trying to pretend to be rich. How do I confirm this theory?
Oh, yeah, okay. This is interesting. You need to go covered in blood.
Oh, okay.
And say, can't explain, but I need $10,000.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That's good. Do you have to be covered in blood?
Well, because then it's obviously a very dire situation.
Okay.
If you came to me regularly said I need $10,000, I go, oh, no, let me think about it. Like, what's it for? Yeah. If you came to me covered in blood, I wouldn't have time to think. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God.
That's a good point. No blood leads to more questions. Because you feel like you know that you've got plenty of time.
Yeah.
If you're covered in blood, time is of the essence.
Time is of the essence.
Somebody who comes up to you running,
Or
covered in
also
blood.
maybe just to make them like, because you don't want them thinking at all. Like I would say, keep looking at your watch.
Yeah. Well. Okay.
You're covered in blood.
Okay.
You keep looking at your watch. Like
Yeah.
I really don't have time to ask all the questions that are necessary.
Yeah.
I should just either go and get $10,000, therefore confirming richness,
Yeah.
or $10,000 isn't necessarily like you're set for life or anything like that.
Yeah.
But if you have it spare, I think you're pretty comfortable.
If you got just that in the bank, that's maybe enough to How about naked as well? No, wait. You need to be careful of not when things you need too many questions.
That does tip
arise.
back into questions.
Yeah. Okay, just the blood then. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Because the question I'd be running through my head is: did you murder or did you witness a murder?
Yeah.
Which of these scenarios has happened?
Okay. And why would $10,000 fix this? Solve the problem? I murdered somebody.
Yeah.
I
should remember to ask afterwards.
Yeah. I want to hire a digging truck and $10,000. Okay. Here's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
Is you go out with your boyfriend.
Yep.
Because I feel like this is a time to exploit said boyfriend.
Obviously.
Because if they are rich, bonus.
Yep.
If they are poor, then oh well. I didn't really have reasoning behind that.
But relationships require honesty.
Yeah.
And if you're not being honest,
Yep.
Also, I want to know how long they've been dating.
Yeah.
So if he's been keeping this up for like 3 years,
Yeah.
that's a weird lie.
That's a pretty good lie. I want to know at the point at which he's like, I really can have to stop spending money.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to come up with the most extravagant lie.
Yeah.
I know. I'll run up to her covered in blood. You'll never guess what happened to all my finances.
I'm back down to it, just average amount in my bank account. And he'd leave me with some. Yeah, that's okay.
So, I can catch a bus. Okay, you get boyfriend.
Yeah.
You walk past, you go to your local city. You walk past inevitably a homeless person.
Sure.
And you say, look at that horrible poor person. Okay. Now, look, this seems bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But one of two things happens.
Mm-hmm.
He says, hey, that's just a poor homeless person. Don't pay them, that's rude.
Yeah.
And then, you've got a genuinely nice boyfriend that cares about the poverty of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cares about others.
Cares about others. That's a very good trait.
Yep.
If he says, yeah, I agree, then you've locked him into being rich. Okay? This is where phase 2 comes in. Then you go to a jeweler's, perhaps.
Yep.
And you start picking out expensive things.
You know what's interesting about this? Is I can tell you're making this up on the fly.
No. I've got this.
So I'm very interested because when you looked as surprised at me, you looked as surprised as me at phase 2.
Phase 2 campaign.
You said phase 2, and we both went, ooh.
Oh, there's another phase. Phase 2
Looking
campaign.
forward to phase 3.
This is where it gets juicy. Okay. You go to a jeweler's.
Yeah.
You start picking out expensive jewelry.
Sure.
Okay. And then when he's like, whoa, that's a bit too expensive, you say, what, are you a poor person? You said you hate poor people. And then he has to be like, oh yeah, I said that.
Yeah.
She said that she hated poor people.
Important then, perhaps. Let's step back to phase 1 for just a moment.
We're into phase 2 though.
So in phase 1, when you're saying these comments about the homeless person, it is good to maybe record.
Oh yeah.
Just so in phase 2, because he can deny. He can be like, I never said that.
I never said that. And you say, well, I recorded the whole thing.
Exactly.
Okay, but thank you so much
That's
for clearing out phase 1. Phase 2. You lock him into saying, buying these things.
Yep.
And the best thing about that is, because you have also the video proof, is that you can force him to go into a lot of debt to prove that he's rich. Okay. Phase 3, break up with him.
Twist ending.
Break up with him. He's poor now.
Yeah. You've got that jewelry.
You've got that jewelry that you wanted. Don't need anything else.
Yeah, okay.
So, 2 good ideas there, I think.
Yeah. There you go. Either exploit your boyfriend into going into debt and then break up with him in a 3-phased plan.
Yeah.
Or there's always the good old-fashioned covered in blood, I need $10,000.
Yeah. Works like a charm.
Yeah.
Okay, here is Cambo. Today I learned.
Okay.
We're just mixing it up.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's the segment for it.
First advice.
Yeah.
Cambo. Now it's Today I learned. Should I really point that out?
Yeah.
How wacky this segment is.
By the way, I must say, because we worked out last week that the game that we're playing, and new listeners will get to that later, I get a point for correctly playing the theme for the segment.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be deducted points because I played Today I Learned and then you went into advice.
Well, shouldn't you?
No.
I think probably you should get deducted. It was up to you to create a new little intro.
You want me to create a new theme and then I'll get a point?
No, because I noticed at the beginning of the show that you have 6 lit up buttons instead of 5. So,
extra point coming my way.
In fact, minus points if you made up a new intro. Okay. All right. This Today I Learned is by Haddock 420. Oh, I think we've had Haddock before.
Yeah, we have,
Funny.
That sounds familiar.
Quite a long time ago, though. Today I learned Matthew Perry doesn't remember filming 3 seasons of Friends due to his substance use.
So yeah,
he's Chandler, by the way.
Yeah.
I think
I know Matthew Perry. Yeah, he was addicted to painkillers.
Painkillers.
Which, when you say substance abuse, sounds cooler, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So even then, strategically, I was like, they've tried to make it sound cooler.
Well,
I think he had back pain, I believe, and he got addicted to his painkillers.
I think you can make it cooler again if you say, "Oh yeah, it was just drug medication," but then you can say, "But it was morphine."
Ooh.
You know, you're like back on it. You're like, "Oh, you can use that."
Opioids are all the rage.
Yeah,
he was just before the trend.
Just before it.
So I can top this.
Oh,
Frankie Muniz.
Yeah,
who played Malcolm in the Middle.
Yep,
for 6-7 seasons. Doesn't remember filming any of Malcolm in the Middle because once he left Malcolm in the Middle, he was so rich. He's like, I'll do whatever I want to do, I guess. So he became a race car driver.
Oh,
and then was in quite a bad accident.
Oh my god!
And he lost most of his memory.
Yeah,
he has absolutely no memory of filming it.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Frankie Muniz. Not to bum people out, is a very sad story.
Yeah.
If you ever get read what happened to Frankie Muniz after Malcolm in the Middle. It's actually really sad.
I'm thinking this would have been great if he did a worse show. If this, if this was like, if you were like any of the cast in The Big Bang Theory, you've done yourself a good favor.
Yeah.
That, in fact, I'd do never too late to try and get into an accident.
That's. I reckon Jim Parsons, the guy that played Sheldon, was getting $1 million an episode.
Yeah, and
they do about 24 episodes a season.
Yeah,
so it's $24 million a year.
Good maths.
That's enough money to just forget, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
You could pay everyone around you to never mention it for the rest of your life.
Yeah. In fact, maybe we should become friends with Jim Parsons. Then tell him how bad the TV show is, because presumably he thinks it's okay.
right. And then he
demand he pays us.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I don't want to put myself up there with the likes of a Matthew Perry or a Frankie Muniz. But I don't remember anything I've ever said on this show. So.
Yeah. And
so many times.
No, you just remembered Haddock 420. You even
That's true,
said,
actually. Yeah.
So you're a liar. You need to do more drugs. That's the way around it, Cambo.
Yeah. Again, the solution is drugs.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Solution is drugs. Name a time that's not.
Yeah. In fact, just the other day, someone came to me and said, I really want to get into drugs. I said, drugs will help.
Drugs help.
The solution was drugs.
Staring
that's a very specific example, but it does work.
Yeah, that's true.
The cat has entered.
Yeah, I know.
Just an update. The cat has entered.
Oh, boy.
And the cat is now exiting.
Cat's left.
Okay. Oh, thank God.
It's like, our heartbeats just we're racing.
We can't even keep the attention of a cat. That's all.
They're so lazy now. Oh, they just come in and sit and lie down. He doesn't even want that.
He came in. He's like, "Oh no, they're doing Today I Learned
the podcast again." Yikes! All right, Cambo, let's get into shower thoughts.
Shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts.
Now we have a very special shower thought.
Oh,
Cambo. This is by Sva, 97AB. And they wrote in the Reddit podcast subreddit.
I did see this.
A shower thought, which I thought was great. We've never actually asked listeners to do this before.
Yeah,
but if you have like an ask Reddit, quote unquote, or a shower thought, or Today I Learned, or advice. We're now doing advice, apparently. If you need advice, feel free to like write it on our Reddit podcast subreddit, and then we'll do it on the show.
Yeah, cool.
So they have said, what if something/someone from somewhere? Only until I've read this now is that quite funny. Okay, what if something/someone from somewhere admired us through our entire life cycle, the same way we do with trees and plants in nature through different seasons?
I mean, it's certainly possible, isn't it? Like the idea that we are just, because it was like, why haven't an intelligent life reached out to us?
Yeah.
You've never spoken to a tree.
Yeah.
You spoke to a tree. Tree's like, oh my God, they talk. Oh my God.
I like the idea that the trees just start talking back.
Yeah.
Oh, we've never spoken to each other.
It's like, hello, Mr. Tree.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Oh, you can talk. So can you.
Yes. We could always talk.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think it's interesting if you think about it in the concept of that we are just observed from such a far, far away place, perhaps. Like I'm thinking in the way that we look at molecular, like germs and structures and whatever. You know, we can look down to a nucleus, basically.
Yeah.
And I think that is really amazing. And if you think about the idea of that then being a universe in itself, then, and we kind of observe these in objects all around us, then that's interesting to think that maybe we are that too, that we are a really super small part of something larger, but we change slightly, that might be interesting to observe from somewhere else and further away from that. I think it's a crazy concept.
Time is something that you need to comprehend as like being perceived differently by different people. So like our life cycle is 80 years and therefore like a millennia, for example, is quite a long time, and history does change a lot in millennia. But then to a different being, a millennia might be so obsolete that you can be like, oh, look how it's changing. Look at like the Industrial Revolution that they started, and then now they're in like a tech digital age, and that would be kind of interesting as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Another thing to think, say there is an intelligent life 1,000 years in the future with a really high-powered telescope, and we know that light only travels at a certain speed.
Yeah.
So if they're looking at 1,000 years in the future at us 1,000 light years away, they can see this show.
Yeah. More listeners.
Yeah.
Not listeners. They could see. Probably.
Yeah, that's true. They probably just see us like miming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no. Okay.
Might be better.
We need to signal somehow. Spotify. We're on Spotify.
That's how you get them.
Yeah. Well, okay. What we'll do, we'll put a big sign. We got a big window here in the podcast room. Put a big sign in the window with just advice of how to subscribe on Spotify. So then if there is intelligent life watching from 1,000 years in the future, they can go check us out.
Okay.
Obviously leave a rating on a different app.
Yeah, whatever that is in this timeline. It's probably Apple-based, let's be honest. Okay, I've got another one here. This is by Broken Elevator Pitch. One day, people will get annoyed by the person who always brings up the fact that they've traveled to Mars and how the trip changed them on a foundational level.
Yeah, Elon.
Yeah, it'll be him.
I get it. You're setting up a civilization. Jesus.
Oh, boy. So he gets back and he's like, oh, everybody should set up a civilization.
It's changed me. Also, maybe save the human race, but it's really changed me.
Yeah. I like hate people that do this. Admittedly, I feel like I've only had maybe 1 or 2 people in my life that have ever done that. Come back from a trip and be like, oh my God, it's so amazing. You have to do it.
Yeah.
Because I love the idea that when people do this, they feel like they have realizations that nobody else has had.
Yeah.
It's like, I could very well be, for lack of a better term, wiser than this person. And they've gone on this trip and had, bits of wisdom come at them, and they're like, oh my God, I feel so enlightened. I'm such a different person now that I understand, the fundamentals of life or something like that.
Guys, cultures are different. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, I understood that when I was 18.
Yeah.
But now I just watch Netflix.
But also,
I got over it.
I do feel whenever people are like, oh, Nelson, you have to go. It's going to change your life. Is that there's a bit of them that thinks that you don't believe them.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you have to go because you won't understand until you go. I'm not lying.
Yeah.
This is true.
And just the idea that everybody's circumstance is so unique in everything. Like, could you... Just as an example, which I've brought up on this podcast before, is the time I went to Disneyland and I tried to bring in alcohol, no context, whatever, it's fine. And they confiscated it from me. Yeah. Had the worst time at Disneyland. Which also, I was by myself. Yeah. Like, very two different things. If somebody came from a trip and was like, oh my God, you have to go to Disneyland, totally amazing, changes your life. Yeah. And then I go there and I have those same experiences. Like, we experience things so differently.
Well, for instance, last time I was at Disneyland, had a wonderful time. Yeah. But the circumstances were different.
Yeah.
And even last time I was overseas, Stacey and I were in New York. And we went to a place called Joe's Pizza in Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
And we really, really liked it. But a lot of that is to have the day that we had that led to that and everything like that. So you might try and get there and have a bad trip, and then you go, it's just average pizza. I don't understand,
Yeah.
It really is circumstance.
Yeah, that's right. And then I think even if you compare things in nature, right? Because obviously, probably people that have these realizations or whatever, feel like they're a new person, is more normally associated, I think, with some natural thing that they've seen occur. Like, I don't know, maybe you go to Machu Picchu or you see the Northern Lights or something like that. But again, weather is very determinant on on how you feel in that moment of time.
I hired one of those glass igloos that you can get under and you watch the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah.
And then I said to Nell, because they're quite expensive. I think they're a couple $1,000.
Right, okay.
Say they were $5,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, Nelson, you're rich, or you keep telling me you're rich.
Yeah.
You gave me that $10,000 when I needed it.
Yeah.
So you should
about that.
You should go and get one of these glass igloos and watch Aurora Borealis. Yeah. And then you go and you're like, it's cloudy.
Yeah, exactly.
I spent $5,000 on the clouds. Could have done that here.
Yeah, that's right. Or even just, I imagine the lights vary in sort of strength or whatever, or in amazingness. So even if we thought that we saw the exact same thing, you could be seeing something completely different.
That's true.
But yeah.
And I think it also relates to, we've talked about this several times on the show, but we once drove from one side of this country to the other.
Yeah.
We had a wonderful time through the Nullarbor plan that runs across the country. And even at night, the stars were really bright and you could see all the galaxies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's dependent on one, who we went with, two, the time of year that we went. I'm sure people have a terrible time across there.
Exactly.
There's nothing there. It's just a huge empty plain.
Yeah. I tried to tell some friends recently to do that. And then I was like, I was about to explain why I liked it. And then they said, but there's nothing there. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of what I liked about it.
To the point, Hazim wrote in once. He said, hey, I'm going to eventually come to Australia. What should we do? And we recommended that. Yeah. And it had to take someone smarter than us, Cousin Rowan, to be like, well, there is nothing out there.
There's nothing.
You guys just had a good time because you were out there together. It was more your experience together you enjoyed rather than the empty plains.
Do you know what, though? Take drugs.
Take drugs. You've done it.
I've done it. You having a bad time? Take some drugs.
Yeah. Again, there's so little that it can't solve
this. You know what? If somebody said to me, Nelson, I've done heroin, you have to do this. It'll change your life. I might actually do it. I've realized drugs solve everything. But yes, I've realized as we've been talking, I feel like I've been very negative about the idea of, look, I understand that people can experience these things and feel like it does fundamentally change them. Yeah. But I feel like trying to impose that on other people
the thing.
That's the...
I would say between us, I'm more of a traveler than you.
Yeah,
I quite like traveling. You're a little bit indifferent.
I like
to
Netflix, Camber.
Yeah. But
and drugs.
I
Can't
like
get them
to think,
overseas.
and correct me if I'm wrong here, I like to think that I don't try and force you to go traveling
all the time,
to a place
every
that
day.
I've been. Yeah.
Canberra, say, Nelson's still in Australia? Come on.
Every time you turn up, it's like Good Will Hunting. Every time you turn up to my door to podcast, I'm always like, disappointment.
One day I'm just going to be overseas. Yeah. And you message me like, hey, we podcasting tonight?
I can't. I'm on Sale, Croatia. Oh. Well, I mean, it's a bit annoying. But...
Yeah. Anywho, let's do another one. What we do for time? Sure. Let's do one quick one.
Okay. Pick a bad one.
Okay. Oh, maybe this ties in. Okay, this is by Cypress 2000. Humans are the most vulnerable when naked. Yet there is nothing scarier than having a naked person run at you.
Depends on the context.
Covered in blood.
If you go to a running orgy, then a running naked person's part of the course.
Yeah,
you'd be
that's
excited.
Yeah.
Well, here they come.
Yeah. I also think, for me personally, different if it's guy or girl.
Yep.
A girl, I'm kind of like
where's this going?
a little bit worried.
Yeah.
But also kind of feel like, there's a percentage chance that this turns out better than, I was thinking.
Yeah.
With a guy, I'm like, well, even if he's wanting, coitus, I'm not really into that.
Yeah. So what you think is like woman charging at you, depending on how this goes, you could consent to that.
Yeah.
But you're thinking if a man charges to you, the percentage chance of you consenting to it is far lower.
You're far lower.
No,
Yeah. Just one of the circumstances. Also, I think probably depends what they're carrying.
That's true.
Basket of Easter eggs, for example.
I'm trying to think of the most confusing.
A little bit more on the level.
Okay.
I mean, still confusing.
I've got two options. Bunch of flowers.
Yeah.
Like floral.
Okay.
Also a bunch of flowers you cook for. Like they're carrying a bunch of packets of flowers.
Oh, okay.
So they've got a bunch of flowers.
Okay.
Which is scarier?
The flowers. The flower packets of flour.
Yeah, because I feel like that hurt if you threw them at someone.
Yeah.
Because they are quite soft, but a big section of them becomes quite a solid.
This is what
you ever dropped a bag of flour? It's quite a thud.
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. This is some sort of like elaborate game that somebody is playing. If somebody comes up to me with packets of flour and they're running at me naked, I'm like, this is what's happened. Somebody's run up to this guy naked with some flour, poured one on top of him and said, well, you got to strip down naked now. And also tag you're it. You've got to run after somebody else and do the same thing. I'm pretty sure that's what happens.
Let's make this a rule. If you see someone running at you with a bunch of flowers, probably fine. If you see someone running at you with a bunch of packets of flour, you don't want to be it.
Run away.
So run away.
Yeah. Also, the person with flowers, though, could run up and say, hey, we lost the baton to our naked running game, but you have to strip down and run.
No.
Oh, it's the same thing, basically.
Run anytime.
Just if somebody runs at you naked, run away.
Yeah.
Unless they're extremely attractive. Then I'll risk getting into a race. I guess got something to talk about later.
How'd you guys meet? Funny story.
Okay, but let's get into the next segment, which is not pot dabbing. It's what rules or something like that.
Yeah. Wow. So this is a segment that we've been doing a couple of weeks, and we're nearing the end of it. So I thought, as a celebration, I've created a new theme for it.
Okay,
Nelson.
that's good. We can use this in future.
Yeah. And I've just named it something else entirely.
Hazim's Crazy Game Show. What are the rules? I don't know.
We seriously don't know the rules. There you go.
It's good. It's good. I like it.
Yep.
We don't know the rules.
No.
It's very confusing.
Also, we'll never use that again.
By the way, how long is that track? Because the light is still on.
Yeah, so in fact, and this is not interesting to anyone listening,
Okay.
firmware update, it gives you a countdown of how long the track's got.
Interesting.
But, I've left 30 seconds of silence.
Okay, good. Yes, so this game, I mean, the intro said it all, but we don't know the rules. We came up with the game show, which that was the case, and then one of our listeners, Hazim, with a bunch of other listeners, has put together these rules.
Yeah. We pitched a game show which the contestants don't know the rules and have to work them out as they play.
Yep.
And now we've been forced to play it against our own will.
Yep. So this one, I guess we just start reading it, right?
Yeah,
People get the context as we go.
Oh, yeah.
He says, okay, gents, just FYI, big hints and big points in the latter half of this message. So either no reading it early for either of you, or both of you need to read it early to be on even footing. Cambo and I ended up deciding to read it early.
Yes, and in fact, if the start of this show made very little sense to you, you're about to find out why.
Yeah, that's right. I initially thought the game would end when all rules were guessed, but I decided, I'm glad you didn't do that, because some of these I was onto, but there was like one or two that I was like, I have no idea what this could be. Mainly because I have to travel some and won't be able to keep making new parts to this game in the coming weeks. I did think about this. It kind of locks you and us into making sure we do, weekly episodes. This is it. Whoever has the most points by the end of this episode wins. Big points for guessing the rules, so it's really still anybody's game. Reminder of last week's questions. Pick 3 different numbers from 1 to 100. Use this as a strategy to either gather the most points or to try and work out the rule. Mm-hmm. Number 2, would you rather walk around all day in wet socks you can't take off, or a pebble in one shoe that you can't remove? Number 3, the zombie apocalypse is upon us. You reach into your pocket and luckily you have just the item you need to help you survive for the next several weeks. What is it? My numbers were 38, then 98, then 29. I lost 8 points, then I gained 8 points, then I gained 9 points. Question 2 and 3, I didn't get any points. And then he said, other non-question based rules. Nelson-specific rule number 5. I'm about to give up on this one. I'll say this. This is something you used to say a lot. The same chill word 3 times in a row when you're trying to fill dead space.
We never fill dead spaces, Em.
We've never got dead space.
Everything on this show is plotted out in advance.
Yeah, we write a script, actually.
Yeah, it's so
we
long.
Just sit here reading it. Plus 10 points for successfully using the loophole. Who am I to prevent loophole usage? That's practically 50% of your show. That being said, call your mum and apologize. Yes. I have since spoken to my mum.
Yes.
And
for those
still
who
her
didn't
child.
listen last week, Nelson did lie to his mother about whether or not she would be appearing on the show, and called her on the air.
Can't even deny it.
Yeah.
It's recorded. Rule number 3, negative 5 points for being the first person to use this generic, indecisive word to fill dead space while you think of the next thing you're about to say. Rule number 4, plus 10 points. And rule number 8, plus 25 points for guessing rule number 6. Nelson total this week, plus 49. Cambo, you guessed you had a strategy to just use ones that got you points, got us points last time.
Yep.
So you chose 49, 45, and 92, and you did get 9 points and 5 points and 2 points. Haha, I'm up on you by 1, I think. Oh, no, I didn't. No, because I got the minus points. Never mind. And then you got 5 points for the question 2 and 5 points for question 3.
A pretty good week for me, all up.
Yeah, good week. Other non-question based points. Cambo specific rule number 6. Oh man, Nelson played you hard here. Oh yes, I did.
Yeah.
It's minus points for every time you played that mashup.
Yes.
I honestly am not sure how many you played at once, so I'm going to count each instance as a single infraction.
Good.
Which is never going to be 3 points for each time. I think it should be far more than that.
No.
And plus 6 points for playing them all correctly for a total of negative 15 points.
So I guess to catch people up, just in case, We've worked out that I get a point every time I play the theme correctly. But we were kind of testing the waters. You tricked me at first, and then I wanted to experiment a bit more. I was smashing my hand on all of the buttons at once and playing them all at once, which is about one theme, I think, if we're doing points.
Nah, I think more.
And correct, it did lose me a lot of points.
It's funny because I did tell you you could have stopped. I could have,
but
you would have got a few minus points, and then that would have been it.
What I'm doing is I'm peer reviewing you.
Yeah, okay.
You had a theory. I did a peer review. You know what? You're correct.
That's good. That's good. I don't think that's how peer reviews
not.
but that's fine. That's fine. We're not scientists, so that's fine. My counts may be a touch off given the chaos in which that occurred, but there's nobody to overrule me here. Good point. Cambo totaled this week 11.
Okay.
So last week
I got 11. You got 49.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was on 23 points last week. I got 49. I'm now on 72 points. You were on 29 last week. You got 11. You're now on 40 points. Plus 10 for successfully lobbying for intro/exit. Because Hazim didn't know that you played the intro and outro each time, and you've technically done those correctly. So you get an extra 10 points. So you're now on 50 points. Okay, guys, no more questions. This is it. Before we get into the big hints, this is what I want some listeners to. I know there's listeners at home that have been playing along, trying to work out the rules.
I've been talking to a few listeners that have been playing. They said I didn't write in. I've been playing along as well, and they've all had their theories and stuff as well. So
unlike the scum who asked for the rules. So if you are still playing, I want you to pause the podcast. Not yet. And write down what you think the rules are.
Yeah,
There's already been some pretty big hints already in this one, but we want to know what you wrote. And then, so pause. Now. Okay. Now that you're back, let's go to rule 1. There's a big clue. The 1 to 100 based questions. A list of some of your answers and the accompanying points, organized in 2 groups. Numbers from 1 to 50 and numbers from 51 to 100. So, we have 11 points, gained 1 point. 21 gained 1 point. 29 gained 9 points. 38 got minus 8 points. 45 got 5 points. 49 got 9 points. 69 got minus 9. 92 got plus 2. 98 got plus 8. And 92 again got plus 2. He wrote, Nelson, I think you almost have this, but the key is that the rule is one thing for 1 to 50 and flips for 51 to 100. Am I going to read all the clues first and then we...
Oh, okay. So do we guess the rule each time, or do we read them all and then go back and guess?
Let's guess it each time, so then it's the hint is fresh in people's memories.
Yeah, great. Okay. This is the one. So I am no good at number things.
Oh,
so
okay.
I do have an idea about most of them, but this one, I know you're very close to it, but I don't think I'm very close to it at all.
Funnily enough, I actually said this to Hazim, but
cheating, are we?
had an idea. No, I actually had to...
No, cheating. I heard it.
It's
recorded.
I actually had to... Well, later on, I'll tell you what happened. But I actually had a theory that 0 to 50 and 51 to 100 was a separate part of the rule, but I just couldn't put my finger on it. And I think I've now got it.
Okay, what do you think it is?
But you go first. You said you're...
Oh, I don't know.
You don't have anything?
Yeah, there's obviously a pattern.
Okay.
And then the pattern mirrors, but I can't exactly work out what the pattern is.
Okay, all right. That's fair enough. Okay, so my understanding of this rule is from 0 to 50, if the second number is odd, you get positive points for that. So 11, 21, 29, 45, 49. Yep. They all got you positive points.
And 38.
And 38.
This is something
minus 8.
I did notice as well. The positive and the even and the odd.
Right. Yeah.
But the numerical value of the point I couldn't work out.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I see. And then obviously it was the opposite. So from 51 to 100. If the second number was odd, you got minus points. Like 69 got minus 9 points, but 92 got plus 2 points. 98 plus 8 points. 92 plus 2 points. So I'm pretty confident in that. I actually only totally figured that out today when Hazim said that. But I reckon even without this clue, by next week I would have had it.
I once I saw them all in a row, the answers and the points, I saw the odd and the even.
Yeah.
But again, the actual why some are 1 and some are 9 and some are 8 and some are... I don't have a theory behind that.
You just got confused. But you know what's the second number is the point.
Yes,
That's what I'm saying now. Yeah. Cool. So...
no, I just figured it out. Don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say. The second number is the point score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
well. Yeah. You've got it now. You've got it now.
We both worked that one out.
Yeah. It was a combined effort.
Yeah.
Okay. Rule number 2. What do you have? I'm not sure about this one.
Rule number 2, patience is a virtue when answering a question where there is no right answer and can only award points when both people answer. So first one, then the second.
Second is what he's written.
Yes. So, second is bolded. So, I have a theory about this one, and I must give points to listener Kaylin as well.
Oh.
She actually texted me being like, I think I know what one of the rules is, and she wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
But then seeing this, I think I know where.
Okay.
So my theory is that whoever answers the question first loses.
Yes.
And the second person to answer gets the points.
Yeah. That's what I've got.
And Kaylin's, so same.
Okay.
So Kaylin thought that if we answered the same thing, the second person didn't get the points. But it's actually almost like the inverse of that.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is, so I've written that down as well, but I thought that I had disproved this because I actually had this idea, I think even like the second, maybe the third week.
Okay.
But I think I just thought I must have stuffed it in some way that because I tried to answer second every time after like the first week or something.
Yeah.
But I obviously just stuffed this short. So yeah, if you answer second, we think you get the rule that you get the points. And I thought that.
So you just got a point because I answered it first, by the way.
Oh.
So do I get the points for saying the rule?
No. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway,
that's the problem. We don't know the rules.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, I that one I was worried about you working it out initially because I thought if I'm stalling a lot, then that's going to be a clue to you as to why I'm not answering first. And if maybe after a point it got too obvious that I'm like, what do you think, Cambo? Then you might catch on. But yeah, I must have just stuffed it because I thought that I had answered second one time and I didn't get the points. So
but we both had the same guess for that.
Yeah, although that might not be the rule anyway.
So rule the third.
Rule the third. He wrote, see hint above. Still don't know. Still aren't sure.
So, okay. I have something written down here.
Yeah.
And it's just something that I've noticed in the show, but the clue, like, I'm really not sure whether I have this right or not.
Okay.
So for that, what do you think it is?
Okay. Are you trying to get points for going second?
In case we're both wrong.
Okay.
I'll still get points.
I've got you lose 5 points when the first person to say loses 5 points.
Okay. So the clue doesn't actually relate to the thing that I thought I'd noticed a pattern. I just put it in number 3 to fill it. But
Okay.
I thought that we were getting points when we use loopholes.
Oh.
But
I think rule 3 we only ever got negative points though. I think.
maybe
I don't know.
I didn't study this.
Well, we'll find out who's correct on that one.
Yep. Okay, so rule 4.
Rule 4. We both figured out this one.
Yeah. So the clue is if you build it too low, they will come and hit it. First person to mention this in an episode gets the point, which of course is the Montague Street Bridge.
Yeah.
Something that comes up a lot on this show. I tried to mention at the beginning.
Yeah.
You pipped me at the post.
Yeah.
Mentioned it right away.
Did you get this after reading these clues today?
That rule 4?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Well,
You
Cambo,
worked out previously, had you?
I knew it was one of a few things.
Uh-huh.
You might remember at the start of the last episode, as well as getting you to play all the intros, I specifically said what Amanda got me for my birthday.
Of
and
course.
she got me a Montague Street tote bag.
Yeah, cheating, are we? Okay.
But I also wasn't sure whether it might have to do with a Tesla. So I said that shit about the Tesla.
Of course.
And I threw an Elon Musk in there saying that I wanted him to sign it just because I thought maybe
Yeah.
Hail Mary, Elon Musk might be part of
That
it
was
as
very
well.
clever, Nelson. Well done.
Thank you. And I actually had to, this is the second email Hazim sent. I actually replied to him and said, hey, I think you might have forgotten my points for Rule 4 because you didn't give them to me originally. And then he said, oh, yeah. And he sent through a new email with this.
Cheating, I see.
Yes, cheating. Do you know what another one I thought might have been is Federation Square Building, but I didn't mention that. Okay, Rule 5. This is the Nelson specific rule with the hint from earlier. The opposite of hot. He really gave this one to me.
Yes.
I do often say cool.
Yes.
Which I threw in at the start of the show.
That's all, I noticed.
But you've hopefully noticed I haven't abused the crap out of that also.
That's true, actually.
You're welcome.
So rule number 6. So I think we both have that when Nelson says cool.
Yeah. That was obviously one. Yep.
So rule number 6, which is the Cambo specific rule, which is you worked it out last week, which is playing the themes in the right order. The cat is back in the room. Just warning you, the cat is back in the room.
We need a button to press for that.
Like a big like warning.
Yeah. Okay, rule number 7. This one I pretty much have no idea on. It's been a long road, gentlemen. The longer you go, and the first person to acknowledge it gets the points.
Right. Okay.
I have only a theory on this one.
No, I think I know this one.
Okay.
Nelson, what did I say at the beginning of this show? I said I've got a fun fact for what?
Fun fact for, I don't know, I wasn't listening to you.
Episode 160. I think that if whoever mentions the episode number first gets the point.
And the first person to... Oh, it could be close. It's been a long road. Oh, yeah, I initially did think something to do with the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
The longer you go and the first person to acknowledge it gets the points. Holy crap, does that mean you get 160 points?
Yes.
That would be insane. The longer you go...
I just think
the first person to acknowledge it gets the points. I think that could be true. But
I don't know if it's 160. I think it's like the longer you go, like, it's as in like he's trying to say it's going to keep changing in the longer you go.
Yeah. Okay.
And like maybe the points do go. I don't think no, it is 160 actually.
Yeah, definitely.
Think about it.
Okay. Oh man, that's actually a really good one, and I think you are probably right on that.
And
now
again,
that I read it over.
credit to all the people that have been like talking to me about this game.
yeah.
Because I am using like my conversations with people.
Okay. Cheating, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so I wrote for this one.
Yep.
Now I think it's shit. I thought if somebody goes on a tangent and the other person identifies that person is going on a tangent, they get points.
Okay.
Based on basically what he said. But it doesn't make sense for the long road. But the longer you go and the first person to acknowledge it gets the points.
Okay.
It makes sense for that.
Yeah.
But no, I think yours is right. I think yours is good. Okay. Rule number 8. If you guess me, you get points.
Yeah, this one I am a bit stumped on.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I in fact it's my 8 is blank.
Oh.
I don't have anything yet. So what do you think?
Oh.
I have a theory, but what do you think
I thought
first?
this one was easy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you think? So
I'm definitely going to get this.
Nelson, I have a theory that I just didn't write down. So what do you think?
Okay. If you guess a rule correctly, you get 25 points.
That's what I thought as well.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
So I got points for that, obviously. I got points for... Because I got 25 points this week. He says it pretty blatantly. He says... Nelson, in the Nelson part, he says rule number 8 plus 25 points for guessing rule 6.
Oh, right.
He pretty much says it.
I'll be honest, Nelson, I skim your parts.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, this isn't about me.
You idiot. Yeah, I'm pretty certain about that. What was your theory anyway?
I thought it was to do with the rules.
Yeah.
It's so obvious now that you say it.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's like your one,
Yeah. I'm like, it's definitely got something to do with like the rules themselves. The last one.
Yeah. Okay, so so I think there's still probably a few that we weren't super sure on.
Okay, but as
saying the person is saying I'm not sure. I think rule 7, I think yours is okay.
Yep.
But I reckon most other ones we got.
I think here's a recap. Rule number 1, we believed to be the second, 1 to 50, the second number, if it is even, you lose points. If it's odd, you gain.
Yeah. And you gain the second digit of points.
And then the inverse of that from 51 to 100.
Yep.
Rule 2, I believe to be the first person to answer loses. Did you have that as well?
Well, I have the second person to answer wins.
Right, yeah.
So you're wrong.
Glass half full. Number 3, I thought was points if we use a loophole.
Yeah.
You thought the first person to say
First person to say yep.
Rule number 4, the first person to mention the Montague Street Bridge.
Yep.
That's point. Number 5 is if you say cool, which we both agree on.
Yep.
Number 6 is I play the themes, which we know is true. Number 7, I believe, is if you mention the episode number.
Yep.
You believe is a tangent.
It's if you go on a tangent, somebody gets.
Number 8.
So dumb.
Number 8, we both agreed that it was probably if you guessed the rule.
Yeah. So, and he says, best of luck, Hazim. So really, truly, thank you, Hazim. This has actually been a lot of fun. I know a lot of listeners have really enjoyed this. Probably the ones that hate it just haven't written in and stop listening at this point. But we really like it. Yeah. We're really glad that you were able to do this for us. I also did honestly start filter before I even read your email. Because you sent it only earlier today, and I was like, oh man, like. We kind of do this every week. Yeah. We kind of need to know what the rules are. And I thought, this is actually a lot of pressure on Hazim. And I started feeling really guilty about the fact that he has all this pressure to make sure he listens to the episode, but not just listen to it, like carefully analyze the things that we say.
And no one should do that. Hazim, there's no substance.
No one at all. But so really, truly, we really appreciate it. And thank you again. And if you send us in what you thought the rules were, if you're one of those people that paused the podcast and wrote down the rules, then we'd like to hear from you.
I would say this has been
Hazim's Crazy Game Show. What are the rules? I don't know.
We seriously don't know the rules. That's done.
That's just still another 30 seconds.
Let the theme play out.
But now, Camper, let's get into the Ask Me Anything, where listeners of the show, just like you, listener, can write in and ask us anything you want. Indeed. Obviously, Camper, we've had AMA probably for 160 episodes. I imagine you've made an intro for that. Oh, God.
It's very similar.
Yeah. It sounds like
shorter, though.
Hazim's Crazy Game Show, but
that's just it's like Laurel and Yanni.
Oh,
some people hear Hazim's Crazy Game Show, but other people hear AMA.
Also, I'd like to point out you just lost points, Cam. Okay, go for it, Cam.
Okay, it's gone here from Amanda. It says, hi guys, I can't tell you how devastated I am to find out that Colonel Sanders was a racist. Now, I do hope that you research this, because we threw it out there and then I said, I don't know, it's probably true.
As soon as I read this email, I was like, oh no, she's taking your word for it. I was like, I feel like it's something I would have heard of before.
I trust Amanda enough because she often will correct us on things, like when we said that Neil Armstrong was still alive when we're wrong. So I do assume she's taking it with a grain of salt, and then the other secret herbs and spices as well.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I get a point for that. Not surprised, I guess, but now I have to choose another nasty junk food to eat when I'm having a bad day. On a really bad day, I buy trashy magazines so it can destroy my mind as well. You know what? I don't think the Burger King has ever been a racist.
He's racist against...
Now that you're in Australia, Hungry Jack.
Hungry Jack.
I think he's all right.
I think he's racist against salads.
No, that's true enough, yeah. That red rooster seems okay. It's never hurt anyone. I don't think I want to go to Jesus' campaign dinner or Donald Trump's. You get fish sandwiches at one and a cold Macca's at the other. Boo to both of them. And if people didn't realize that Amanda was Australian, her use of the word Macca's probably tipped you off there. How crap is it that NASA had their budget pulled from going to the moon on account of lack of interest, and yet we remain endlessly obsessed with the sex lives of members of the royal family? Can I just quick tangent, just in case it gets my points? I use Apple News every morning when I wake up. I read the news, and I kept getting suggested stories about Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
And it kept suggesting to me, and I'm like, why? Like, I've never clicked on one. Yeah, yet they keep serving them to me. Yeah, and then eventually I scrolled enough, and it said suggested topic Meghan Markle. Yeah. And I hid it. Yeah. Right. I said, I'm not interested in Meghan Markle. Stop serving me stories about it. Yeah. A couple of days later. Yeah. Just pop back up again. Just recommend it to me again.
It's so weird.
It's so weird that they're like, it's pretty interesting though.
You want it.
Yeah.
You want it.
Like it honestly does feel like it's being shoved down my throat now. Yeah. And now I spot them in like under different categories. Yeah. Like she'll sneak back in there. Anyway.
I saw something the other day that was like, Harry and Meghan, like splitting up on, and then it was like, comma that or something. Like it was just a really weird phrased headline, very purposefully. Yeah. There was like, I can't even remember. I didn't read into it because I knew that's exactly what they wanted, but I just knew it was a very sneaky way of writing a heading to make you think that they'd got divorced or whatever. And.
She continues, if only we'd had social media back then, I think an engaging Twitter account owned by the moon would have changed everything. We were supposed to be stunned by the science, but the fact is we just want the story, and nobody at NASA was trained to talk in front of the camera. They were just a bunch of astrophysicists and rocket jockeys doing their jobs.
They had that pretty good line there.
Well, he screwed it up.
Yeah. But we agreed that he made it better, we thought.
Yeah. The perfection's in the imperfection.
Exactly.
I was genuinely delighted that you would invite me to be shipwrecked. We had to pick a listener to be shipwrecked with, and you chose Amanda. I would take Chooks 2 and avocado tree, but I'd want a nut tree for my second choice, but the almond, macadamia, or walnut. That's a good question. You're a fan of all kinds of macadamia, mostly?
Chestnuts, man.
Chestnuts.
Love me a chestnut.
There you go, man. Would you take a chestnut tree?
You can only have it once. That's a really inefficient tree. Yes. It's only like autumn blooming, so probably something that's all year.
Which is, don't make me choose. When I was a kid, my family had a holiday on a desert island, and it was fun. I always thought that if I was going to be stranded, I would want Bill Gates with me because I figured people would try really hard to find him. I get a bit iffy watching Survivor, though. I think Eden can have that all to his own. Yes, our friend Eden does apply to Survivor every year. Too much paranoia. So, on the island, we have a computer powered entirely by coconuts. Watch the documentary series Gilligan's Island to see how this can be achieved. And we have a very weak one-way link to the internet. We can watch one channel and only one channel. What do we choose? Take care. Thanks for making me laugh. Hugs, Amanda.
All right, what?
The thing about free-to-air television is it's all the worst.
I think we could include cable, but not Netflix.
Yeah.
Not streaming services.
I would have to go with a movie channel, I think. Because I feel like you get a fair bit of variety out of a movie channel. It's comedies and dramas and horrors and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Whereas if you watch a lifestyle thing, like, there's channels that are just lifestyle channels, house flipping shows, and the cat is very still.
So unnerving. You just saw me like peek out the corner of my eye to the cat. So continue.
But, like, there's only so many like house flipping shows or cooking shows or whatever you can watch in Europe. But I feel like a movie channel, you'd at least get variety.
Yeah. Idiot camper.
You'd watch that survival channel.
The National Geographic channel. Yeah. Isn't that the one that has Bear Grylls?
I don't know.
That's all you need.
I think he's on Discovery.
Shit.
You've signed up for the wrong
Oh boy, that would be the worst. That would be absolutely the worst if I end up getting the wrong one. Oh boy, he just talks about nature. Either that or I do think, pop a bit of Survivor on.
Sure.
They have have a little bit of survival tips during their shows, I think, especially early on when they get onto the island.
Yes. In fact, coded message to our friend Eden.
Yeah.
He doesn't listen to the show.
Yeah.
This is a waste of airtime.
Okay.
If he does get on Survivor, we'll ask him to just to the camera do different survival tips. So then eventually when we're stranded watching Survivor, he can be like, and Nelson, you know, you can get fresh water from any kind of creek that you can just go in.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great idea.
It's a long con, that one.
Because
he'll get voted off immediately. They're like, why does he keep...
Yeah.
Who's Nelson?
Here's something else you probably haven't considered, Cambo.
Yep.
Is you turn it to a channel that nobody watches.
Yep.
And then when that channel looks at their data and they're like, oh my God, we've got this one blip in the middle of nowhere. What is that? Nobody watches that channel except this one small island. Get saved instantly.
Right.
Didn't think about that, Cambo, did you?
No. So what channel is that? Is it one of those weird Turkish news channels?
Yeah. It's probably, they're like free to wear. I don't know. It'd be tricky.
The cat is attacking my chair right now.
Yeah.
He's really going to town on
really
it.
is.
He's really going to town on it.
What a disruptive
I tried to
piece
kind of gently nudge him away and got a bit of a claw.
But I don't know. What do you think is the most non-watched but still available channel? It probably is one of the movie channels on cable. Only because nobody pays for cable anymore for movies. It's like, oh my God, you've got somebody.
Someone's still watching us.
The like, what's the old timey movie ones?
Yeah, TNT, I think, plays old movies.
Right? Yeah. Get that one.
Yeah.
But then also very disappointing movies.
Someone's watching 4 Christmases on cable, the Vince Vaughn Christmas comedy. Who is that?
Yeah.
Let's find them.
Cool. Okay, here's another one.
Sure.
It's by Elliot. Hi, my name is Elliot. I live in America, and I've started listening to your podcast on Spotify every day at work, and I've really been enjoying what you all talk about, from the controversial topics to dicks. Anyway, here's my question, and because I know you guys like loopholes, I've added some guidelines for answering this question.
Okay.
If you had 24 hours to spend 1.5 billion Australian dollars, roughly 1 billion USD, thank you for converting. What would you? I know he wanted to say 1 billion, but he was like, I better check what that is. AUD. What would you? Honestly, $500 million extra. At that point, it doesn't really mean much.
But it's appreciated.
It's appreciated. What would you buy? If it is not all spent within that time frame, 24 hours, everything bought with it will be taken. And the remainder of the money will be taken as well. It has to be something you can buy online or in person. So things like houses, plots of land, or anything that takes more than 24 hours to process is out of the question. And then he says, read this part last. This is my answer because there are still loopholes. I'll type it way down the page so you don't accidentally see it. I'm trusting you.
Yes, and then we had to do Scout's honor that we both didn't scroll down.
I actually said to Cambo when I copy this into our email that we do the show notes on. And
don't give away all our secrets. Now there's going to be so many podcasts that are exactly like this podcast because they know now.
They know how to do it. No, he said when I read the first time reading this email, read this part last, I just stopped reading.
Me too.
I didn't even continue the rest of the sentence until I was pasting it in, and I realized that the email was a lot longer, so I finished that sentence. Okay, but yes, $1.5 billion. Mm-hmm. First of all, should we tell Elliot?
The loophole?
We found out the loophole like instantly.
Yeah.
I hate to.
As soon as I read it, so I was reading it out loud to Stacey. Yeah. And I was like, he said no loopholes, and okay, for $1 billion. No, go on.
Yeah.
I think I suspect that we have the same loophole because, maybe this is, in fact, maybe it's on one of the missing episodes on Spotify. We are working on that. We will get that back. That we've had something kind of similar to this before, and we did come up with a loophole.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So as far this is a loophole I discovered.
Yeah,
Nelson, I got this thing here.
Yeah.
It's worth $1.5 billion. Yeah. Would you like it?
You know what, Cameron? Make it even something interesting that you can put in the Guinness Book of World Records. Be like, most expensive Post-it note.
Yeah, right. I would sell you my phone for $1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Do you accept?
I accept.
Okay.
You know what? Not going to give you the phone back though.
That's okay. I will buy another one.
Oh, yeah,
I'll buy
suppose
that
you
new
do.
one that I wanted. Remember earlier I said I wanted that new one?
Oh yeah, you can take it out of your pocket.
And then
I
we
obviously thought of the same
splitsies the old profits.
Same thing. Well, I think we've now got $3 billion between us. I imagine it's 1.5 billion each.
Also, I sell you my phone, you sell yours.
Yeah, exactly. We're still up a phone. We don't even need a phone camera. Actually, mine's much older.
Here's what we do. Before this deal comes, we'll just give each other our phones in goodwill. Be like, no, so I don't want you to have my phone.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to have my phone.
Yeah.
Then we just buy them back.
Buy them back. Oh my God, so genius. Do you know what I'm going to do? This is instead just kind of raise the stakes a little bit. To make it more interesting, so to speak. I will kidnap a loved one of yours. Let's say your girlfriend.
Yep.
Lock her up and then say $1.5 billion ransom. And then she's like, oh my God, I can't believe you've spent $1.5 billion on me. Meanwhile, you've got my mom. We do another trade.
This is good. This is good because not only do we 1.5 billion each, but also how good do we look?
I know. It looks so good. My mom is going to leave me everything.
Money was no object when it came to you.
Yeah.
I know I came into $1.5 billion. That would have changed our lives. But what's life without you?
Yeah. No, you need to say that you had $3 billion.
Yeah.
So she doesn't ask about the 1.5 billion that you're left over, which you got from me because of my So they're like, I would have paid $3 billion, but they only asked for 1.5 specifically.
Can we, just to make things interesting, because I like to make things interesting, make a pact that on our deathbed, whoever dies first admits it. So then the other person has to live with it for the last years of their life.
Yeah, okay. Yes. All right. Yeah, I like it.
I'm going to deliberately die first.
I mean, well, yeah, right.
Can't you take up smoking?
I'm planning to buy a lot of drugs with the $1.5 billion. Okay. Let's say can't use that loophole. Okay. What do you think that you could buy? In the time frame given, and online or in person?
You have to spend all 1.5 or it goes away.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is legitimately very hard to spend.
Very, very hard. Because again, I would need to go to. It'd be shady. You'd need to go to a third world country, and go. I'll buy a country for 1.5 billion, like impoverished country, and be like, but you need to do it right now.
Canberra, Hong Kong. Solved it again. 2 solutions in 1 episode.
See, here's the thing. I'll buy it, then I'll sell it to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Then I've got it.
And then you've got it. But then also then that'll confuse the government. Because they'll come to me and be like, it's not mine.
Yeah. I
sold it. Well, who has it? I don't know. I didn't get his name.
And I've got a bunch of shell corps set up. And Hong Kong is actually purchased amongst many a company.
It's like, oh yeah, it could be Hong Kong. I also brought a landscaping company at the same time. I don't know. It's in there.
It's one of the. That one's called Kong Hong, so the paperwork gets very confusing. Well, see, that's the thing. Let's just in a matter of time. I'm thinking because he's sort of saying, well, you can't do that because you can't buy that within 24 hours. That would take more than 24 hours.
I'm saying, like, to quote Mr. Trump himself, the art of the deal.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You've got until midnight tonight to sell these countries for 1.5 billion.
Okay.
Yeah. The World Organization estimates that it's worth 700 million. I'm chucking on some extra money.
Yeah. Boy, that is a lot more.
Yeah.
But then you're left with third world country at the end.
Yeah, I'll sell it.
I feel like you haven't getting okay. I don't think people want to buy it.
Here's the thing. If I say to them, I'll buy it for 1.5 bill.
Yeah.
Then I will sell it back to you for 700 mil, which is what it's worth. You're still up that extra money, but I'm 700 mil up.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll be honest, I reckon if I think about it, I could live off 700 mil.
Yeah. It's pretty. Yeah. I just thought another loophole.
Yeah, great. I mean, I Elliot, you really need to make these watertight.
Like watertight, mate. Watertight. Not even one drip. Is Bitcoin.
I buy $1.5 billion of Bitcoin. That is instant, isn't it?
I think that's instant.
Yeah, it's good. You've done it.
Slot of
Is
Bitcoin.
there I don't is Bitcoin finite? Is there a certain amount of Bitcoin, or does it just keep being developed?
I think it is finite actually, because
Is there
probably not 1.5 billion.
Yeah, well, this is my question.
There are a lot of cryptocurrencies out there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you just buy 1.5 billion in cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
And then even if you sell it
Oh,
immediately...
I've got another one.
Okay.
Shares.
Yeah, great. Yeah,
Because I think you can buy... Oh, no, even then that might be fine. But there's so many companies.
Yeah,
you could
yeah,
eventually spend 1.5. Oh, my God, so many loopholes there.
this boat is leaking all over the place.
Yeah. Okay.
So do we want to reveal Elliot's answer?
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's reveal his answer. So I've scrolled down a lot of space. He said, stop scrolling until you have your answer.
Security measure.
I want to hear unique answers. Yeah, he doesn't trust us very much.
Well, fair enough. You admitted to cheating on that game with him.
That's true. So did you. Here is what I would do with the money. I would buy as much gold as I possibly could, making calls for purchases count as online. I would buy as much gold as I possibly could. Okay. Making calls for purchases count as online. My reasoning being, I never said that you couldn't sell it after that initial 24 hours.
Run that immediately.
There is a possibility that I could lose 10%. I'm not sure about that, as I've never sold gold or even looked this up. So this is a guess, but even losing 10%, that's still 100 million USD, which is more than a comfortable amount. Then I have as much time to think more clearly about what I want to buy. Love the show. I'll be sure to send in more questions. I've got plenty ranging from entirely stupid to controversial. You two and the other 3 listeners have yourselves a great rest of your day.
There it is. The old kick in the bollocks that always comes with a new listener right again.
That's funny. Okay, so here's the thing. You've lost 10%. Kimber and I just basically swapped money.
Lossless.
We found a loophole.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be mean, but totally crushed you, Elliot. In this game of spending $1.5 billion.
Nelson, we only have 3 other listeners. You need to stop being mean to them. We almost lost Abigail because you wouldn't stop going on about how much you're beating her at chess.
Stop bringing that up, Cameron. Hey, fun fact, I got a chess set for my birthday. It's really nice. Yeah. Anyway. I think that's a pretty good idea. Although, again, is there like a finite amount of gold? I actually found out that gold is far more rare than diamonds. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yes.
Far more rare than Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin easy to get your hands on.
Yeah, that's
Instantly
true.
Go online. We'll do it right now.
Basically, let's get $1.5 billion. But yeah, in fact, I think there was like...
Could you just exchange money? Could we exchange the 1.5 bill into USD? Is that a purchase?
Because you normally have to pay a fee, don't you?
Yeah, it'd be hard to fulfill at like an airport or whatever. Like you need to go to a treasury.
What do you got in your safe? Yeah. Oh, 10 grand. Oh boy. But you could probably do that online. I mean, as if I would imagine one of the more difficult things would be that when you're trying to cash over, like buying gold, say online or whatever. Yeah. That not all like text box fields would allow you to put in 1.5 billion. They're like, I think you've made a mistake.
That's what multiple transactions are for.
Okay. Even then, I think just the time required loading the website, putting in like 100 million. Just not enough time in the day. All right. Anyway, thank you for writing into us. Oh boy, a long episode. Oh boy. Thank you for writing into us, Elliot and Amanda, and again Hazim, and all the people who helped out with Hazim's wacky game show thing.
I'm not gonna play it again. I'm not. That's dumb.
Damn it! I really tried to hook you into that one. If you would like to write into us, you can do so. Reddit podcast, READIT podcast at gmail.com. You can also reach us at Facebook, at Twitter, and our subreddit. They are all READIT podcast.
I did have a thought, by the way.
Yeah.
In fact, let's just spitball it on the show and people can write in if they agree. But I know that you can set up WhatsApps so people can just also leave voice messages as well. So if you want to ask us a question, jump on WhatsApp, search us, and leave us a voice message.
There you go. Cambo's going to set up a WhatsApp.
Yeah,
he's committed to it. Just like you're getting around to fixing the episodes for Spotify.
Here's the thing. If people listen on Spotify, we are missing, I think, 10-ish episodes. Maybe 10 to 15 episodes.
Okay.
I know how to fix it. And I will eventually.
Okay.
I will get to it.
Okay. Yeah. Sure you will.
Also, I'm going to make that theme for the AMA.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for listening. And we would, Eva, if you can leave a review for us on whatever podcasting app you're listening to, would really appreciate that.
We also specify if you're listening to us on Spotify, and many people do listen to us on Spotify, we've discovered, just jump to another podcast app that rates.
Yeah.
Rate us there.
Grab another person's phone on the train. Yeah. Let's subscribe them.
Give it back if you want. Or free phone.
Oh, free phone. Give them $1.5 billion. Thanks for listening, and we will read you later.